Hello, and welcome back to Financial Freedom for the Average Person. This is the book. I'm the guy that wrote the book. I'm Moba, and I hope some of you are like the book. I hope some of you are actually getting some things out of the videos and the course that I'm building here. But today we're on to exercise 8, and this is how I calculate the value of a property. And over the years, I've bought and sold a lot of properties. Kind of like always like Monopoly. Grow up, you get to play it as a big kid. That's fun. Anyway, so this is the way I lay it out. First, select a property. Okay, and we go to the county website and we look up the taxable value, the square footage, and the previous sales. You find out that the auditor's page or the recorder's page, usually one or the other or both, will give you that kind of information. It's all free. It's very valuable. You can find a ton of information out. Then on a piece of paper, I write down the address of the property, taxable value, square footage. Note many states have a homestead clause where the taxes can't go up as much every month. So you kind of need to know a little bit about that because when you're trying to value something, if someone's been in there in 10 years and the value of the home hasn't went up in 10 years, it's going to be dramatically underpriced in the county page. But you'll see that pretty quick. Then I go to Zillow. That's my go-to place. There's several other ones you can go to, but I look the property up in Zillow. It'll give me an estimate and it'll give me comparable sales. Also, Truilla and Realtor.com. Those are really good for comparable sales. I look up the square footage of the comparable sales and then calculate their price per square foot. So I got a price per square foot of what I'm looking for, and I'm looking what comparable homes are selling for. I take the square footage of the house that I'm looking at and I multiply it by the square footage of the comparable or the price per square foot of the comparable sales. So I get an apples to apples kind of look. If you don't do it that way, if you're looking at one home and it's several hundred or 500 square foot different in price, it just can't just look at the price. Go to that square foot and that kind of like levels everything out. Um, and again, I'll say, don't trust the realtor. Okay, do this on your own. Write down the property asking price, tax value, Zillow estimate, and the calculated comparable value. Next, we take the lowest value and reduce it by what you think you need to do repairs. Okay, and then I'll multiply that by 90% typically. That's my normal initial offer for a property. I adjust it up or down based on the situations. Sometimes the owner will be willing to negotiate around the value, and sometimes they won't respond at all. And typically, I'll come in with an offer. Um, if the owner comes back and gives me a offer somewhere in between, comes down just a little bit off of his offer, then I know he's willing to work with me. And more often than not, we end up right in the middle between what I initially started offering and what his asking price was. But it depends how long the property's been on the market and how much the owner owes. Now, real quick, I think I'll talk investment properties later a little bit, but if you're going to look at an investment property, I assume it's worth 10 times the annual income that I'm going to get off of it, assuming that it's in good repair, then the monthly expenses are reasonable. So, if you're getting 1,500 a month in rent, then you probably you should not be paying over 180,000 for that property. So, anyway, that quick rule of thumb, probably get into more of that later. And if you are interested in investment properties, tons of courses, tons of people talking about it, and it's actually kind of fun. Again, if you like to play grown up Monopoly. Okay, let's pick a property. I like Davenport, Florida. I like Florida. I used to live in Davenport. We actually bought a auction.com home there. And it worked out very, very well. So I did a search real quick on Zillow using the 235K, which we calculated from our last exercise. and did this on 29 June 2026, and we ended up with 366 results. Then I screened it down. I don't want to look at it. I want a house. I don't want a townhome or condo. I don't want a manufactured. And then I want at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. And then I went through that and I looked for the one that the best house I thought I could find with the largest square footage. Okay. So I found this house here on 144 Denali Street in Haines City, Florida. Okay, I know exactly where it's located. I know the subdivision. I know that schools are decent. The area is fast growing. It's a good place. You it's not a gated community. I'll take that back. But I also had a very low HOA, like $11 or something. All right, so 1,820 square feet. So that worked out to $129 per square foot. Like I said, I like $100 per square foot, but that's not realistic anymore. 129 is pretty darn cheap though, as things are going. I took a look at the Zillow estimate, 232,400. So they're priced just a few thousand over the Zillow estimate, but they know the Zillow estimate as well. So I imagine that they're thinking that's probably their target. Then I went to the Polk County Auditor page. I found out that the property sold in 2021. It was actually finished construction was 2022. So this was bought new, okay, for 257,000. But then there was a strange thing in there. It said that it was transferred at no cost on December 30th, 2025, to an individual. So with a different name. Now, yeah, I don't know the history there. If I wanted to dig into it, I could. I ran it through AI. AI said it was a short sale. I'm thinking it might be an estate transfer, but there's many, many things that can happen where somebody is just transferring ownership of a house to somebody else. It could be an elderly person, they're moving out, or they're going to go into I won't say assisted living. They might be only doing over 55 kind of thing, and just they're moving on. Um, anyway, uh, don't know the whole story there, but I think it's complicated. Now, the county estimate is 265,839, and it did have a homestead on it, so I know that they can only raise the sale. I think it's 3% in the state of Florida, it might be 5%. But anyway, the comparable sales, surprisingly, around 300,000 and around $160 per square foot. So, looking at the 160 to 129, this appears to be priced well under that. So that's possibly a good thing. Or, we haven't been in this house yet. There may be some other issues with the house, but it's only 4 years old. So it's probably pretty good shape. So when I look at the three estimates, the lowest of the three is 232,400. Again, the house was built in 2021. I don't think I'm gonna need many repairs on this, maybe $1,000. So normally I would offer 90% of the estimate, less repairs. So I'd drop it down to my initial starting point would be 208, 260. In this case, since it's possibly a short sale, the bank's gonna want the 235, but still, the 208 is my number. Okay, that if I sorted that out, okay, and I was sure of that, that it's probably what's remaining in the mortgage toward the property, and if I really wanted it, I would look at the 232.4. So I actually would probably come up off that 208, 260. But then my normal starting point and what I want you to leave with is where you should start, 208, 260. Hot market, you're probably not going to get it. People might get upset, or they may come back and say, we can't do that, but how about 225? And if they did that, then I would, and by the way, I would expect that I'm going to get this house if we got into negotiations. What's the difference here? 24,000, 12,000. I expect I could get this house for 220. And there you go. And that's how we play Real People Monopoly. Anyway, hope you like that. I hope you do on your homes. And have a great day.